Alexis Sanchez played for Arsenal from the summer of 2014 to the winter of 2018, scoring 80 goals and 45 assists in just 166 appearances. He was a fan favourite at Arsenal and can easily be considered the best player of the Emirates era.
Alexis, you know I love you, blood, yeah? Without you, yeah, we need you, fam, innit? Because we need to build a team around you. You're the main guy. Alexis Sanchez, we want you to stay!
However, now he's hated by many Arsenal fans because of his transfer to Man United. So, what was the real reason he left Arsenal? Let's find out. Alexis was left on the bench at Anfield, and the Daily Telegraph later reported that a training ground fight with teammates was behind the decision. They reported that Sanchez walked off the training pitch mid-session, for which a number of his teammates confronted him in the changing room. Apparently, this is not the first time it happened either. His fights with teammates didn't just happen in training, however. In a game against Everton, Alexis was fuming with Ramsey for not making a simple pass, and Koscielny is believed to have stepped in to try and get him under control on more than one occasion. After a win against Burnley, senior players told Sanchez they were sick of the way he was acting on the pitch. Hector Bellerin was questioned about Sanchez's behaviour in an interview, and he had this to say.
But he's a player that always wants to win, right? He demands from everyone, and sometimes it can be quite too much. It's true that in this season, maybe things weren't going as well for him, but you know, I truly believe that he was giving his 100% in every game.
Sources within Arsenal leaked that he was becoming unpopular. He has just been so intense all the time, and sometimes comes across a bit of a brat. Of course, the players wanted him to do well for the team, but at the same time, I think it became annoying to see him gloat when he scored a goal. It was all about him, not the team. Everybody knew he wanted to leave. There were a few incidents between Wenger and Alexis which showed their relationship was not great. Wenger benched Alexis against Liverpool after the training fight with his teammates, which I mentioned earlier. There were also a couple incidents where Alexis was very angry at being substituted and ignored Wenger when walking back to the bench. Perhaps the thing he held against Arsene the most was the fact that Wenger had stopped his transfer to Man City. It's reported by many sources that he was close to a £60 million deal to join Manchester City in September 2017, but Arsenal stopped it as they failed to get in a replacement. And this was the start of the season where all of his problems at Arsenal began, which means this was probably one of the main reasons Sanchez became unhappy with the manager and showed his anger towards the club. It's no coincidence that so many people at the club fell out with him in his last year, another Arsenal source said. So the bad relationship with players and manager probably happened as a result of him being unhappy about not being allowed to leave, rather than the cause of his departure. What he said about wanting to return to Arsenal after his first session with United proves that. I ended up signing without much information about what was happening in the move. The first days that I was with my colleagues, sometimes there are things that you do not realize until you arrive. The first training session I realized many things. I came home and I told my representative, "Can't the contract be terminated to return to Arsenal?" They started laughing and I told them that something did not sit right with me. The contract had already been signed. So if he really didn't like his teammates or manager back at Arsenal, Alexis wouldn't want to go back to Arsenal. So let's move on to other possible reasons Alexis left. In the 3.5 years Alexis played for Arsenal, they won 2 FA Cups and he scored a goal in both finals. Not to mention the Community Shield, in which he also scored a goal. So why would he need to change teams if he's winning trophies? Well, people might argue that these are not considered the biggest trophies, like the Premier League or even the Champions League. So in that case, it would make sense why Alexis would want to leave Arsenal to win bigger trophies. Except that it doesn't. If he went to Manchester City, everyone would accept this reason. But instead, he joined Manchester United, a team which hadn't won a Premier League or a Champions League for over 5 years. So this explanation that he left because he wanted to win big trophies doesn't make any sense. That leaves us with one final explanation. But before we get to it, here's an honorable mention. Since I was a young lad, I've always said that my dream was to play for Manchester United. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here now and today it's come true. No. Just no. This is a generic thing which every player says when they join a new club. Playing for Barcelona was a dream. It's a dream come true because I've always dreamed of playing for Arsenal. So now, let's look at the actual real reason why Alexis joined Manchester United. This seems to be the only explanation that makes sense. He was offered £500,000 a week at Manchester United, including bonus and image rights payments. Compare that to Arsenal, where he was getting only £130,000 a week. And I mean, if you look at it from a non-Arsenal fan's opinion, then fair enough. Alexis had nothing when growing up. He had to fight for everything he has, his brother said. We were the poorest of the poor, so Alexis had to earn money any way he could from a very young age. Alexis was one of my favorite players at Arsenal, and I, along with other Arsenal fans, hated him once he joined United. But the fact that he was a flop for them, and that a lot of time has passed, I choose to remember his time at Arsenal for his amazing goals, powerful dribbles, and most of all the hunger that he showed on the pitch. How do you feel about Alexis now? Let me know in the comments.